Okay, that intro didn't work out just, the way I wanted it to. But what's going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. How is everybody's Thanksgiving? I haven't seen you guys in forever. Haven't been on in a minute, too. Let me make sure that I shout out everybody in the chat really quick. Hold on. Who do we have? Who do we have? Mark the Shark in the building. Cindy from South Florida. Gold Digger, I'm sorry, Nightbot's on timeout, so we turned off the Nightbot. But anyways, I gotta turn off Stream Elements too. I don't know how to use this stuff, you guys. Forgive me, I'm new at this, you guys. This is probably only my like sixth or seventh stream. But welcome, 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 welcome. Today we are going to be just, we're gonna get into not a deep dive, but I kind of want to just review some of the obviously the name of the video today is called Controlling the Narrative. So I want to kind of watch a few videos that have came out in the past. A lot of these videos are old, and a lot of them are from TMZ. But the past couple of nights, I just couldn't help but think that since this case has come out, TMZ and the media have been in such a back and forth about what is true and what is not, and I couldn't help but think about how TMZ is really trying to control the narrative, whether it's disputing claims that the LAPD has come out with or putting out videos that are going to try to change your mind. But yeah, I just kind of want to jump into it. So obviously, everybody here is very well aware of the situation of the, Celeste Rivas Hernandez being placed in the frunk of D4VD's Tesla, and nobody knows what's going on, right? And ever since this case came out, we knew that David has been radio silent, right? And why hasn't he come out? I mean, there's so much proof out there on the internet of the two of them having a romantic relationship or them being together. And so, people are still trying to figure out if there's any kind of relationship between them. But we know that there is, right? The internet has done such an amazing job putting together all this evidence. Whether or not it's helping or hurting the case, I think what it's doing is it's providing a little bit of light on the situation for the public, at least, because we know the LAPD, medical examiner, aren't really saying much, so we don't really know which direction to follow. But anyways, the name of the title is Controlling the Narrative, right? And Cindy, the volume is a bit low. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Hold on one second. Let me check something really quick. Let me check. Can you guys hear me? You guys are good? It's a bit low. What about now? Give me a one in the chat if you guys can hear me. Scoop versus one they've got. D Fuentes said, does anyone know of cases where TMZ got the scoop versus when they've gotten it wrong? Not necessarily. TMZ has they've been around for about 20 years now. I think this might be like their 20-year anniversary. And they've done let's be honest, right? They've done an amazing job with being the first on the scene to get the scoop. And I remember hearing about TMZ for the very first time when Michael Jackson passed, and they were the ones who kind of came out and broke the news that Michael Jackson was transferred to UCLA. And I remember that day so clearly, and I think I mentioned this before in the live because I was doing my clinicals for nursing school at UCLA Medical Center, and I was wondering, who the hell are these people who broke the news? How did they know what was going on? But anyways, kind of just want to not deep dive, but I want to just review a few videos with you guys, watch this stuff, and then talk about it, spark a conversation down in the comments and see what you guys think. And I'm trying out a new layout. I was telling Mark the Shark, shout out to Mark the Shark, that I was getting a little bit of help on fixing the format of the layout of the show. So hopefully you guys are okay with this view. I kind of changed it up. We didn't really put so much of the graphics, but we're trying something new. So I hope you guys enjoy it. But anyways, let's talk about controlling the narrative, right? What do we know about controlling the narrative? So we know that David Anthony Burke has hired a mega powerhouse of an attorney, right? And that attorney is Blair Berk. And I came across this article on Reddit, and this was posted 2 months ago, right? So it says Blair Berk, D4VD's lawyer, using TMZ to influence the public opinion. And it says here, so we'll just kind of read this together. It says Blair Berk is a prominent Los Angeles criminal defense attorney renowned for representing high-profile clients in complex legal matters. Her clientele includes notable figures such as Mel Gibson, Lindsay Lohan, Harvey Weinstein, and Darren Sharper, among others. Burke has been described as Harvey Levin's good friend and vacation buddy, highlighting her close relationship with the founder of TMZ. So below, I list the few controversial communication that Levin and Burke have utilized to sway the public opinion to Burke's clients' benefit. So number one, we have Harvey Weinstein, right? Everybody's familiar with the whole Me Too movement. Burke represented Harvey Weinstein during this high-profile legal battle related to multiple sexual abuse allegations, leveraging her relationship with TMZ founder Harvey Levin. Burke and Levin coordinated a media coverage to influence the public's perception of Weinstein. This included strategic leaks and selective reporting aimed at shaping the narrative in Weinstein's favor. Levin has faced separate harassment allegations from Rose McGowan. Another case that Blair Berk assisted in was CeeLo Green's felony drug case, 2013. Burke filed legal documents criticizing the courtroom's media handling, accusing the judge and prosecutor of orchestrating the setup to ensure her client was prominently featured in media coverage. TMZ obtained and reported on these documents, highlighting the defense's concerns. 2016, Amber Heard's deposition in Johnny Depp's lawsuit. During Amber Heard's deposition in the defamation lawsuit filed by Johnny Depp, Burke was part of the legal team representing Depp. Her involvement was reported by TMZ, highlighting her role in the high-profile case, and the media's focus on the proceedings. In 2006, she helped Mel Gibson in his DUI arrest. So following Mel Gibson's DUI arrest in 2006, TMZ was among the first to report on the incident, providing extensive coverage. Now, I feel like 2006, was it? Okay. I thought TMZ kind of broke their, step into the scene 2009 when Michael Jackson died, but maybe they were there around 2006. Burke worked closely with TMZ to manage the narrative, ensuring that Gibson's side of the story was prominently featured. This collaboration helped shape public perception during a critical time for Gibson's career. Darren Sharper's rape allegations. Former NFL star Darren Sharper faced multiple rape allegations in 2014. Burke represented Sharper during the legal proceedings. TMZ's coverage of the case was closely monitored, with strategic information being released to shape the public perception and manage the narrative surrounding Sharper's defense. Now, why is that important? Now, 2025, she's now representing David in this case, right? And what is the whole purpose? Let me just kind of go back to the chat, because I feel like I haven't kept up with the chat at all. Let me say what's up to everybody that's here. Jad, welcome. Gold Digger, Native Girl, how you doing? Mark the Shark, what's going on, you guys? And if you guys haven't already, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And check out Mark the Shark. He likes to do marathon live streams. So he's setting records. He's doing 12-hour streams, 8-hour streams. I think last night he did almost 4 hours. So drop him a follow or subscribe to his channel if you haven't already. Cindy from Southside Florida, how you doing? Didi Fuentes, what's going on? Native Girl, how you doing? Who else do we have here? Stream Elements, messing everything up. Kalohi, how you doing? Bean Baby, what it do? All right. Cool. So what's the whole point of hiring Blair Berk, right? Obviously, she's a high profile attorney, and what is she really known for, right? Um, and I did a little bit of digging and kind of researching some of the cases that she's done and what her style of defense is. And some of the things that I looked up and what I found was her trying to control the narrative before anyone else can, right? So Blair Berk is known for kind of stepping into this case very early before it even kind of becomes a case or before a case is even filed, right? Her style is to kind of cut off like the speculation and kind of quiet the public down before it kind of builds momentum. But I think in this case right now, it's kind of spiraled or skyrocketed and kind of taken off. Um, and I guess you can say, with the world that we live in with social media, the news travels fast, and I guess because of the dynamics of this situation, that there are so many people who are involved or interested in finding out the truth of what happened, right? So some of the things that Blair Berk is really known for doing early on in a case is trying to negotiate like directly with the prosecutors. But right now we don't have anything from the prosecutors, nor do we have any charges. Obviously David hasn't. He's been recently named or viewed as a suspect, but he hasn't been officially named a suspect. And we do know that the media has come out and said that there has been a second suspect, that is involved in this case, not only responsible for the murder, but before, during, and after the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. So some of the things that she does is she'll try to, obviously it's a defense, right? So her goal is to protect her client. And what is she going to do? She's going to do everything that she needs to kind of undermine the situation, right? And how many times have we seen this done recently, especially out in the media, right? I want to kind of go back and start from the beginning, right? And we're going to go back and take a look at, we're going to review some of the things that TMZ has said, and then we're going to just kind of jump back and forth through, oh, look at, does Harvey's fingers look waterlogged? What's going on over here? We're just going to kind of watch some of these TMZ videos, and then I want to kind of spark the discussion down in the comments with you guys. So, mind you guys, this is nothing new that we're dropping, nothing shocking, no breaking news, but we are going to be kind of reviewing some of the things that have come out in the media that have pointed to me that this is all just a PR stunt, right? They're trying to control the narrative to ensure that the public is left confused about everything, and then also to kind of place reasonable doubt, right? So we're just gonna watch this, you guys.
In the trunk of a Tesla owned by the singer David. We now know who the victim is in this case, and there are a lot of twists and turns.
Yes, the victim, as it turns out, is a 15-year-old girl named Celeste Rivas. And Celeste Rivas had gone missing about a year ago. Now, how we got that information that she had gone missing came just days after police reported finding the body parts in this Tesla.
So we should say that this girl apparently had either run away or disappeared.
Yes.
Like you said, it was a year ago, April. So the police have identified her, but here's one of the twists. Last Wednesday, right after the car was found,
right.
We got a tip that this body may be that of Celeste's. We got in touch with Celeste's mother. And the mother told us, because what the police had come out with was that the girl had a tattoo on her right index finger that said,
even before they could identify.
Now, how many of you guys are curious, like just as curious as I am about this anonymous tip? This is the part that really bothers me, right? Because this video was posted on September 18th, and I believe her body or Celeste was identified on either the 17th or the 18th. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong.
Identify find out her name, they obviously had the body parts and they released some information.
And it was on her index finger. It said SHHH with 3 dots or 4 dots. And that's all we knew. The mother told us that my daughter had a tattoo on her right index finger that said the same thing. And that the tattoo, she told us, in fact, Anakin, she only spoke Spanish, so Anakin spoke to her.
She did.
And she said that she had a boyfriend.
That's right, that she had a boyfriend and his name was David. And the mother never really got in contact with David, like she never saw him.
She didn't know who the David was.
She had heard of him. And it seemed like the last time that she had seen her daughter was when she had gone out with David.
So we called LAPD robbery homicide. And we gave...
Yeah, Mark, who called in the tip? Was it you, Mark? Was it you? Or was it was Bean Baby. Bean Baby, you called in the tip? Get out of here.
Gave them the information. We gave them the mother's phone number. We gave them her name, obviously, and also told the detective that she had told us about the tattoo. We added the fact that it was red, which they hadn't.
Right, they hadn't
disclosed.
released that information.
And the detective was,
I
poker
agree.
faced or
I definitely
and just said,
agree,
"Thank you very
Ms.
much."
Dizzle.
And that was it until today, when they now have identified the girl as the girl who is the girl of the month of that woman.
Right, the daughter of that woman.
Right.
So there's another twist with that tattoo.
Yes.
A very interesting one in some photos that we found of David.
Correct.
Now, we should say that David has been on tour during all of this. He
Hasn't canceled any of the shows.
Had
Until
his one tonight.
Had not.
Tonight.
Had been on a tour, and in fact, just last night performed in Seattle. And police had they've not named him a person of interest, not named him a suspect. They just know that the car belongs to him. Now, the photos that we found of David and a tattoo that he has is very, very interesting.
So we got photos from last September where he has on his pointer finger of his right hand
the same finger as hers.
The same exact finger, the exact same tattoo.
Has anybody ever seen another photo other than this one of this tattoo? Because I haven't. And to me, sometimes, I don't know, this, to me, it doesn't look like a tattoo. But I don't know. I don't have a tattoo on my finger.
It's in black, so it's not red ink. And I do want to be fair. Obviously, we're not insinuating anything here. The tattoo, it was very popular, though.
It's a tattoo that Rhianna made popular in 2008.
2008.
SHHH.
Lindsay Lohan had
a bunch
one.
of celebrities.
Yeah.
A ton of people get it because you do this, so it makes sense why it would be on that finger. But it is interesting that he has the exact same tattoo.
The LAPD homicide division is investigating this case. They still have not said it's a murder.
Correct. Meaning that they don't know the...
And see, there they are, just kind of downplaying the situation as if Celeste Rivas Hernandez crawled into the front, wrapped herself in plastic bags, closed the trunk, and then left herself there. Get the fuck
Cause
out
of death. Obviously, yes, the body was dismembered and was, where the parts were in a bag that was in the Tesla, but they don't know what the cause of death is.
And we don't want to seem dumb to you guys that we're saying, people are saying, of course it's a murder. I mean, theoretically, it could be a body where somebody died and then they did it after the fact, which would not be murder, but we don't know.
The part that, why would you do that?
Right.
Right. If someone fell down the stairs and broke their neck in an accident, why would you dismember the body?
Right. So that's what we know right now.
Yes. And then, so the latest thing about David, as we said, police have not named him, but we do know that he canceled, for the first time since all this has been going on, he canceled a show. He had another one scheduled in Seattle tonight, but...
I can't zoom in on this. No, Cindy, I mean, I believe it's a real tattoo. I'm just saying, I haven't seen any other photos after this concert that show otherwise, So I don't know. I'm just being skeptical, right?
I mean, it was weird to me that he was kind of going off on this tour to begin with. Like, if I'm traveling the country and there's a dead body found in a car I own, probably want to get home and kind of try to figure out what exactly happened.
But we should also say, the way this car was discovered, that it was parked up in the Hollywood Hills, and
left there for 3 days.
And if it's left for more than 3 days, it can be towed as an abandoned vehicle. And that's exactly what happened. It was towed to a police tow yard, and the staff there smelled something rank, opened the trunk, and discovered the body in a bag, body parts in a bag. Now, Teslas are very sophisticated cars.
Right.
And there have got to be pictures, you would think, because there are
cameras all over it. And we know that the Tesla has a lot of information. There's data that the police can get. They'd actually have to subpoena Tesla to get that information. As this investigation is rolling along, that's something that they are going to do if they haven't already.
You could at least see who dropped that car off.
Who was driving it. Perhaps you might be able to see who put the body into the trunk.
So I thought one thing that was really interesting is that the car was not reported missing So presumably David knew who was maybe driving this car. Maybe he didn't know that his car was missing.
Well, not missing, but stolen. It was not stolen.
Reported,
Not
stolen.
reported,
right.
So you would imagine that he has some idea of who had this car last. And like you guys mentioned, it doesn't seem like he's spoken to police yet. You think he would really want to get in front of it. And I hope now that the family, maybe they have some closure of Celeste, now that they know exactly what happened to her, you know, maybe they can somehow get more answers because they deserve that.
Yeah, and we don't know. The cooperation is an interesting issue. We can't tell you the level of cooperation.
Right.
And it's just a little bit murky, and we don't want to overstate what we know, but we have told you what we do know. And
They don't want to overstate what they know. Obviously, they know a lot more, right?
it seems like the police are on a trail where they may well be able to figure something out.
Yeah.
Patrick from Atlanta here. There are way too many questions to be asked with this story here now. One of the things is, how does a person that's been missing since April 2024 be found today dismembered in the back of a truck? But now we know extra things like there's too close of a degree of separation from the victim and David here. They both have matching tattoos. So, I mean, of course, there's some kind of, connection there. What does it mean to be, cooperating with the cops? Like you said earlier, why would you still continue to go on tour when something big like this is happening? We really need answers. The family deserves these answers. There's way too many gaps in this story. And I think we're gonna get there.
Yeah, I think the cops are onto something.
Yes.
So that was the first article or the first video that TMZ put out when they acknowledged that they received the anonymous tip, right? Let me see. This was on the 29th. Then you guys remember on September 29th, right? TMZ came out and they put out this video. This was a video of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Apparently she was either at home and she got into an argument with her neighbors who claimed to be Southsiders. Let's take a listen to it.
All the way up to the end?
Right there. I'll tell you where that. See that door right there? Number 2, not on it. Number 2 right there.
Let me talk real quick, okay? You gonna let me talk?
I ain't gonna let you talk.
No, you ain't gonna let me talk. Why you not gonna let me talk? You tripping. Nah, you tripping. How about you ain't tripping? You gonna let a woman talk? Alright, I'm not gonna let your woman talk.
Why is she over here? Again.
Your little house, you don't even got a house.
Hey, bro.
You talk to.
Yeah, ain't nobody black right here, homie. We're Southsiders right here, homie. We're Southsiders here. Get it right, homegirl. Shut up with your black talking. Shut up. You talking like you black, girl, with your black talking. Yeah. Ain't nobody black right here. What are you talking about? I said we're not black over here. Why you keep calling us? You keep saying this. We're not black. Let it go. Go back to your house. Go back to your house. You ain't gonna do nothing, bro. What you gonna do?
After watching this video, I couldn't help but think this is like classic character assassination, right? I mean, obviously what it does is it immediately undermines the innocent victim, right? By portraying her as like someone who is chaotic or someone who lives maybe a potentially high-risk lifestyle, somebody who's combative, somebody who's like a little firecracker, right? I just did not understand what the point was of putting this video out.
No gangster, you ain't nothing, you know what I mean? What you are but a little girl. What you but a little girl. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You need to go home. Seriously.
I'm not Mexican. Salvador, and you just tripping.
Oh my god.
Not because you tripping. Move this out of here.
You ain't gonna do shit. You ain't gonna do shit. You better get over there. Get your ass over there, little girl.
I'm over here, stupid.
Go there, little girl. You ain't gonna do shit. Go. Go. What are you gonna do, bro?
Go call her dad, babe.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, little girl?
And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't this a prank that the family was playing on her that just kind of escalated into something that it shouldn't have been. So that was on September 29th, right? And then I went back and looked at some other videos, and I came across this. Do you guys remember this video? This is a video of Celeste, quote unquote, ex-boyfriend, who comes out and talks about her troubled life, right?
Tesla of singer David. The investigation is still going on. We don't know the cause of death yet.
Jump into
we have edited some specifics out because we have not been able to confirm them, and we don't want to do this, but he is talking generally. By the way, he's sitting next to his mother.
She said how her mom didn't treat her well or whatever, and she didn't like where she was at.
Did she talk at all about her relationship with her parents?
Kind of. She just said they were mean or whatever. She didn't like them.
What is your last memory that you have of Celeste?
We were at PE, and she told me and my friend that she was running away, and she said it was because of her parents, and she was like joking about it, and she was like happy, like joking like she always was, and like it didn't seem real, cause like she was like playing around, joking about it, and the next day she wasn't at school, and like that's the last time I saw her.
Yeah, so she had run away, as you know, and we've talked about.
So she had run away, as you know, right? And all this does to me is just really throws her under the bus, and really, this is just character assassination, right? They talk about how she was a runaway, and I feel like it was TMZ who just always exploited this this part of her life, right? This pattern of runaway behavior, which creates the justification for her death, right? And not focusing on the direct actions of David, which is kind of disgusting. I don't know.
About several times. She ran away in January of 2024, came back, and police got her in February in Hollywood, and then she ran away in March of 2024. Now, we're told that's the last time the family saw her, although there's some conflict over whether she came back after that.
Well, yeah, so it was interesting, too, his interview. I mean, that matches up with what we're hearing from law enforcement, that that she had some type of troubled home life, and that was the reason for her running away, obviously. And then we got this video yesterday, which was kind of shocking, because we thought maybe the last time her mom had seen her, or her parents had seen her, was one of the last times she had ran away.
Right. In the spring of 2024.
So we spoke to a neighbor directly in an apartment right next door to where she lives. They had Nest camera. I believe we're going to show
camera footage that was. This is from September 7th, 2024. And Celeste is the woman you see there. She was arguing with the neighbors because some kids were doing a ding-dong ditch.
The context of the video is she lived right next door. Kids in the apartment building had ding-dong ditched her. The video
with the neighbors because this is from September 7th.
Now, this is a little piece of information that I never caught before, so
2024. And Celeste is the woman you see there. She was arguing with the neighbors because some kids were doing a ding-dong ditch.
The context of the video is she lived right next door. Kids in the apartment building had ding-dong ditched her house. So she was going over there to confront the kids. And at the time, they didn't. The neighbors didn't really think anything of it. They're just like,
they had seen the missing posters, but they was like, oh, well, she's here.
After she left, they were talking. They're like, oh, that was the girl from the missing posters, because the family had gone up and down the block with the missing posters back in April.
So wait a minute. So the idea here is that she came back in
September 2024
to her family.
Yeah.
Hey, Anakin, come over here for a second.
We don't know if she was back there staying with them or she just went back to visit.
But she was clearly right next door to her family home on September 8th.
We have a mic? Oh, you have your mic.
We spoke to Celeste's mother before she was even identified because we got a tip. She only speaks Spanish. Anakin speaks Spanish, and you talked to her.
Yeah.
What we reported was the last time the family saw her was March of 2024.
So I never got a specific month from her. All I know is that she said that she hadn't seen her for a couple of years until...
A couple of years. That's wild to me. As a mother, how do you not know where your daughter is or not even try to keep in contact with her. That's wild.
News of her death.
A couple of
Well, it
years.
certainly wasn't a couple of years because
Well,
in fact she was there in April.
If she was right
early
next,
the mother
next
had
to her house.
If it was September, it was less than a year.
Well, certainly at that point it's less than
Well,
a year.
about a year. Yeah.
What's really striking about this incident, though, is it is exactly 1 year before the body was discovered in David's Tesla, to the day.
Right.
You know,
what
the neighbors told us that they thought that she was just back home, but it seems like she was going back and forth.
It seems that way, and it's different from the initial report, which was
that she was
the final
just
time
gone
she
to
was
Hollywood.
seen was in March, and she went to Hollywood, and that was it.
Right.
To me, what I get from this video is that, you know, they obviously portray her as this wild child who's got behavioral problems, and at the same time it just kind of puts a blame on the family, you know, for being negligent and you know, not really caring or overseeing, you know, this girl.
Hello, my name is Tori. I'm from Mississippi.
So that was posted on September 30th, right? And then what happened after that? We know that on, I want to say it was October 1st, we had LA Magazine come out, right? And they put out a video. And this is with Lauren Conlin, right? So she had an interview with SF Investigates. And on October 1st, this was her video.
Steve Fisher, private investigator in Los Angeles. You have been all over the Celeste Rivas Hernandez case. I have just confirmed that David Burke has hired Blair Berk, a very well-known criminal defense attorney in Los Angeles. However, she doesn't typically handle murder cases. She does a lot of scrapes, if you will, DUIs, getting celebrities out of just, you know, some minor trouble that they're in. She has tried murder cases before, but again, not her specialty. Now this, coupled with the fact that LAPD put out a statement saying that there might not be any criminal culpability.
No criminal culpability at all? So she just crawled into that Tesla, wrapped herself in a bag.
Beyond concealment of a body?
Now we know that's not true now, right? Because reports have come out that she was dismembered. Now we're getting other reports contradicting the whole decapitated scenario, and we'll probably talk about.
What are you thinking that we're in for right now? What are they setting us up for?
This could be a really a bigger PR situation than anything, because it from that this could be a really a bigger PR situation than anything, because from that news release, it sounds like concealment of a body is probably, you know, what we're looking at. You know, I think that they're foreshadowing that this is going to be an overdose and somebody made a bad decision and she ended up in that Tesla. And so it's not going to be a homicide trial. It's going to be a, you know, listen, it's a misdemeanor offense, concealment of a body in California. So, you know, it'd be a matter of his attorney representing him on that, but also managing damage control to maybe try and salvage his career, which I think is going to be a tough thing to do at this time. But
look at her reaction I think when she said, when SF Investigate says damage control.
Damage control to maybe try and salvage his career, which I think is going to be a tough thing to do at this time. But you know, I think that's possibly why you see the attorney on this case is not a high-powered, you know, homicide defense attorney. This is an attorney that gets celebrities out of, you know, misdemeanor type issues.
And I'm not even going to talk about the possible trouble he could be in if they do find proof that they were in some kind of sexual relationship. That's, you know, neither here nor there right at this moment. But you also received some information, Steve, from a source claiming that Celeste, over the summer, she was at parties with her siblings and David. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, from what I've been told, that her, you know, she had siblings that would attend, you know, some of these parties that her and David would be at. And Yeah, I mean, from what I've been told that her, she had siblings that would attend, some of these parties that her and David would be at. And that's, troubling because there was a an active missing persons report open for her. She was in the NCIC system, which is the FBI database, and nobody cleared her. And then, recently we've seen this surveillance video from some apartment complex or whatever it is, where she's in a shouting match. And that is months and months after she was reported missing. So why wasn't law enforcement notified that they had eyeballs on her? They knew where she was at. That's
So that was Lauren Conlon from LA Magazine, which came out October 1st. This was basically her breaking exclusive news that David hired celebrity attorney Blair Berk, right? And then I came across, I think this was, let me see, is this the article? Let's see. Oh, and mind you, I think the bigger part about the reason why I'm showing LA Magazine and this this video of Lauren Conlon exclusively announcing that Blair Berk was hired for D4VD is because I just recently found out who owns LA Magazine, right? And LA Magazine is actually owned by Mark Geragos. And Mark Geragos is actually a co-host on the Two Angry Men podcast with Harvey Levin. So I started wondering, like, could this really be a PR crisis, where they are really trying to control the narrative? And then I stumbled across another video, right? And this is a video of DJ Academics, who was on Twitch doing his live stream, and he just decided that he wanted to go ahead and place a call to his lovely friend Lauren Conlon to talk about how she's doing such a fantastic job. And mind you, I think Lauren Conlon is doing an absolutely amazing job covering this case as well. I just found it very weird that that Mark Geragos owns LA Magazine, which was something new that I found out, right? But I want you guys to listen to this video. It's about 12 minutes. We probably don't have to get into the whole thing, but I do want you guys to take a listen to this.
Yeah, that's what I need to do. Maybe I should call her.
Disappear really quick.
Give her a big salary. Just let her work. You know what I mean, right? Just give her a salary. Just work. Bring shit back. Give her some incentive. Like, you could do stuff for your stuff too, because I know she's building a company. I'm gonna call her real quick. I miss her. She's probably preparing Thanksgiving. You think she could?
Hello?
Lauren!
Hello? Yes.
It's Ak.
Hi, how are you?
Hey. Oh, by the way, I am on stream. I was just saying, I just seen you on TMZ. You did an amazing job.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I mean, I feel like I've been texting you, I've been messaging you. You, never get back to me. So I thought you just wrote me off.
No.
Yeah.
No. Hey, no. Great. Number one, I think... Just like even with the Diddy stuff, and I'm not sure this was a bad time to call, but just like with the Diddy stuff, I feel like we think alike so much because you echoed so many things that I said early on.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, my audience is latching on to this Davis story. I think we should link up either next week. No, let's link up next week if you're free.
Yeah.
After Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And let's really get into this.
No, I will. Is this I don't even know. This is a new number for you.
Wait,
I'm should I text you here? I have no clue. Okay.
Oh, you're probably texting my own number. Oh, okay. Yo,
well,
chat. I did not
because
curve Lauren. I love Lauren. No,
I
you're texting my own
literally
number.
was like, what did I do? I was like, I must have really pissed him off somehow.
No.
I have no idea.
No,
my God.
You're texting my other number.
Okay.
Usually, I have like about 8 numbers, but like most of them come to like one central phone. I did switch my main phone, but I thought I would get it. But text me here. Yeah. Absolutely.
Wait, did you see me on the TMZ? It was the long form video that Harvey did, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the latest video now. It's the latest video now.
Yeah. So let me just give you just like off the record.
Yeah.
So after the Diddy trial, LA Mag is owned by Mark Geragos, Tenny's dad. Oh. So he really, it's not
wait, we're on.
It was the long form video that Harvey did, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the latest video now. It's the latest video now.
Yeah. So let me just give you just like off the record.
Yeah.
So after the Diddy trial, LA Mag is owned by Mark Geragos, Tenny's.
LA Magazine is owned by Mark Geragos.
Dad. Oh. So he really, it's not like a.
Hold on. Wait. We're on stream.
Yeah.
We're on stream.
Yeah.
Wait, we're on stream. So we're on stream. Don't. Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, no, I'll call you
on
after.
Stream right now?
Yes, that's what I said it. Oh,
you did?
Yeah. Hold on, we'll talk later about it.
It's not like a secret or anything. Okay. But they just I just was gonna tell you the background of how I got the job. All this stuff.
Tell me that off of here.
It's definitely not a secret at all. I just was gonna give you the whole background, but I would rather not say it to the whole audience, obviously.
No, I watched you on there and I was just like, I haven't seen you in a long time. I miss you, and I was just like, you're doing a great job, and I'm like, I hope you're sinking your teeth in this because you're, what we love about you. You get to the real like nitty gritty shit, and I'm like, we're starting to cover this case consistently, and seeing you pop up with it, I'm like, yo, we gotta link up and you gotta
wait. I'm dying, but I just sort of told you off like on a stream. That is so funny. I just called you out. Not told you off. I would never tell you off. But I literally was like, I thought you like just kicked me to the curb back. I literally was like, what?
No. I just mentioned to everyone. I was just like, me, you, and even Unc, we gotta link up. I think we have to. I don't know if Unc has any care in this, but my audience, like the last couple nights. Like, we've been getting into the weeds with this thing.
Yeah. So you are probably on the same page as me when I was kind of talking about a second suspect, maybe not being in the country, maybe being somewhere, like, you kind of, you're following, you're tracking.
So, here's one of the things I said. First of all, one of my favorite shows is like a guilty pleasure of mine. It's always been Dexter, and I hate that Netflix took it off. But if you've ever watched,
I love Dexter too.
But what it does, and I graduated from Rutgers with a biomathematics degree, so I always had like this, this fascination with science, even though I ended up just being in entertainment. And I've done a lot of research, and also like even that show, it kind of like helps you on a pathology level understand what happens to a corpse. You know what I mean? And
Wait, I just had a vision of like the season 1.
So that was the article that. Well, not article, but that was a video that I stumbled across. And, I was just kind of shocked to hear that LA Magazine was owned by Mark Geragos. And then I went up and looked up the article. This took place December 6, 2022. It says Los Angeles Magazine gets new owners, and their local prominent defense attorney Mark Geragos and civil litigator and entrepreneur Ben Meiselas vowed to dramatically expand the magazine's journalism and digital operation. Los Angeles Magazine, Southern California's oldest glossy and the first city magazine in America, has been acquired by two prominent LA attorney defense lawyers, Mark Geragos and Ben Meiselas, a civil rights attorney and social media entrepreneur. The magazine, along with Pasadena and Orange Coast, was purchased from Detroit-based Our Media on Monday. The price was not disclosed. The lifelong Angelinos formed a new company, Engine Vision Media, to run all three publications, which will be headquartered in downtown LA. The company will immediately take over operations, retaining all the existing staff, including the publisher and editors. At a staff meeting earlier today, the magazine's new owners said that after several years of shrinking budgets, they plan to invest significantly in the magazine's journalism and expand its digital and social media presence, while also putting a new focus on live events. Mark Geragos, a co-founder of Engine Vision, said of the acquisition, "As someone who was born in downtown Los Angeles and raised in the Pasadena area, that's where I'm from, it's a dream to help steward the legacy of 3 incredible magazines and provide the resources needed to take them to the next level with a positive vision that celebrates the communities that these magazines serve." Ben Meiselas added the Los Angeles, Pasadena, and Orange Coast are some of the most vibrant and incredible communities, not just in California, but in this country. From culture to entertainment to food to business to politics, I'm looking forward to pursuing a new vision for these magazines to become a trusted source, I'm going to say that again, to become a trusted source of information and unifying forces in the community. So, yeah, it's crazy because, I mean, that totally makes sense, right? Why people, who are in law purchase these large media companies, so then that way when things happen, they have the ability to control the narrative. That's just wild to me. So it makes me wonder, like, is any of the stuff that's coming out about cases, specifically this one, what is true, what is a lie, and what is being skewed from reality, so then that way we cannot make up our minds. And clearly, it's super clear that they've done a great job at it, because look at what's going on today, right? They have the LAPD versus the medical examiner. LAPD is saying this, the medical examiner is saying something else. It's pretty wild. And then, okay, we just watched this. And then I want to say this was the podcast between Harvey Levin and Mark Geragos. If I'm not mistaken, this was we're not going to watch it because I can't find the specific parts in it. But I want to say this was the podcast that they came out with where they just totally went against everything that Steve Fisher, SF investigator, the private investigator, had put out, right? I have we're not going to sit and watch all 32 minutes of this, but I want to say this was the podcast where they came out and they just kind of destroyed SF Investigates and threw him under the bus, and they were saying that none of what he's saying is true. And then they had a little back and forth on Twitter where Steve Fisher just kind of called them out. But you guys can go watch that video for yourselves. I'll put that video in the chat for you guys. I'm sure you guys have seen this a million times before. But I want to jump into this video right here. All right. This was a video that TMZ had just put out 2 days ago. And this video talks about
what are people in the live stream?
TMZ case.
The live stream are saying about this, whether they're appalled
Not
by
the
it or
TMZ
whether
case.
they
I'm sorry.
kind
They
of
bring up
So it
the
goes,
whole David
Mrs.
and Celeste
Doubtfire,
case.
that's genius but disturbing.
Mama is to shoot. I got it.
The clerk, I want to have
3 years.
An LAPD captain is disputing part of a story that we broke over the weekend. A story about David, the singer David, and the body that was found in his Tesla.
Hold on, before we continue, let me just catch up on the chat really quick. I'm gonna do what Mark does. Let me catch up on the chat, you guys. The chat is on fire, as Mark would say. Let's see. Where are we? I don't even know where we're at. Marissa said, I've been saying this for a while, that TMZ is creating chaos for her to have a stronger leg to stand on in the court. Yeah, 100%. I totally agree. This is damage control, right? Deladane said, back to your house. Native Girl said, I would hope they use more definitive information to confirm it was Celeste, such as DNA. And you know what? I really think that they have. And you know, they've done their toxicology reports, and I'm sure that they've it's not confirmed, but I'm sure that they've done their DNA samples just to confirm that it was, right? TMZ said 100. Della Dank said, that's why I hate TMZ. And then Yashoda said, do you mean that they released some other bodies to enter? Are you, was that in reference to Della Dank saying that her body wasn't in there? TMZ also, bull. Della Dank, like, what was the whole point of this video besides making her look bad? Exactly, right? They were taunting her. That's why I was kind of confused. Yes, putting out this video to make Celeste seem combative so that they can possibly use that David had to use self-defense in an altercation in court. That could be very well a possibility, right? Delaney said that's fake. Fake. Yeah, I heard that. Are they holding back some parts of her body? We'll get into that right now in this video. You heard a whispering in that video. You're referring to the video with the kid. Typical teenage talk. Parents are so mean. Let's see. Delaney said, "Yeah, I hope that they're not talking would be wrong, but it's just crazy that Harvey said that." It threw me off because she was late to rest October 6th. Yeah. So we're going to get into that. And there's a lot of chat to catch up on. I don't believe that she was this guy's girlfriend. So Yashoda said, I don't believe that she was this guy's girlfriend ever. She had been communicating and probably had a crush on David for at least a year or two before she ran away. There you go. Thanks, Justal. My producer is here in the chat. What up, Justal? Thank you for tuning in. So Yashoda, you don't think that they were ever together at all? Not even for a little bit? Or at least before she ran away? Well, I mean, they did say that David and Celeste met over, what was it, either Roblox or Fortnite? And they said that she could have been as young as 10 or 11. Do you guys believe that? Stoic, what up, Stoic? Stoic said, yeah, Floja, oh yeah, people started talking crazy ass about her and her parents after that came out, saying the horrible things, uncalled for things. It was disgusting. Absolutely, yeah. When that video came out, they were saying, like, what's wrong with the parents? How come they're not doing anything? They're just over there laughing. Let's see. Where are we at? I just saw native girl. What up, native girl? Cindy said they should clean house, starting with the LAPD. There's corruption everywhere. I think there's going to be corruption in every market that you go to, right? Thank you, Mark. But yeah, let's get into this because this was definitely something that caught my eye and had me raising my eyebrows.
That body of Celeste Rivas. And the part of our story that we broke over the weekend was that that the remains of Celeste were partially frozen when they were found in the Tesla. This was back in early September, first week in September, when they discovered this when David's car had been towed to an LA tow yard. Well, the LAPD captain is saying that the body was not frozen.
So herein lies the issue. We have a very well-connected source connected to the medical examiner, the LA County medical examiner, which currently has the body. And that source has doubled, tripled, quadrupled, and sextupled down, actually, now, saying that the body was indeed partially frozen when it was received by law enforcement. So that's kind of interesting, but the medical examiner is just telling a different story, or at least the sources we have, and we have sources in all camps in this, there's a conflict here.
We'd heard that there had been this conflict between LAPD and the medical examiner.
There's been tension for several years, but this is kind of interesting. One of the documents at the LA County Medical Examiner's office has an interesting statement. This has to do with trying to fingerprint LA County Medical Examiner, which currently has the body. And
did you guys hear that
were
part?
partially frozen when they were found in the Tesla. This was back in early September, first week in September, when they discovered this when David's car had been towed to an LA tow yard. Well, the LAPD captain is saying that the body was not frozen.
Herein lies the issue.
Herein lies the issue, you guys. Make sure you guys are paying attention to this part right here, because this part right here really caught my attention and had me wondering what the hell is going on, right?
We have a very well-connected source connected to the medical examiner, the LA County Medical Examiner, which currently has the body. And that source has...
The medical examiner, which currently has the body. So what is going on? We do know, so this was posted, when was this posted? This was posted 2 days ago on November 26th, right? And we know that on October 7th, whether it was October 7th or October 6th, right? We know that October 6th, Celeste Rivas Hernandez was laid to rest. She did have her funeral services, which were held at the Queen of Haven Cemetery and Mortuary in Roland Heights, California on Monday, October 6th. Family members gathered to mourn Rivas a month after her body was found in the trunk of a Tesla registered to David D4VD, who's 20, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, on September 8th. The Los Angeles County Coroner confirmed that her body was released to her relatives on September 23rd. Rivas was only 14. Rivas's family initially spoke out about her death on September 18th. As many of you know, she was identified as the body was found last week. GoFundMe organizers Esmeralda Lozano and Giselle Vera wrote on the fundraising page. She was a beloved daughter, sister, cousin, and friend. Ahead of the funeral, the GoFundMe page was updated with a message reading, "Thank you to everyone who is gracious enough to donate. The family is incredibly grateful." Let's see. Cindy said, "I was that little girl running away. Yes, men take advantage of them girls, pass them around pregnant. Oh yes, with no mommy stopping her or fight is on. I was that little girl." I'm sorry to hear that, Cindy. I hope everything has turned out for the better for you. And we are wishing you the best. Bean Baby said, "Cindy, young girls don't look at it like that. They're just young and just want to be loved and protected, opposite of what they are currently getting at home." Ms. Dill said, "Isn't it weird that they're saying the ME has the body?" No, absolutely 100%. Why are they saying the ME has the body? Yashoda said, "Nothing they say is making sense. First, partially frozen." Sorry, I hear my dog growling at the door. I gotta make sure there's nobody outside. What's going on? Sorry about that, you guys. So what do you mean has the body, right? What does that mean? I mean, it could mean a few things, and I don't know if that means that Celeste was buried, or maybe wasn't even buried, but she had an empty casket funeral. Could that mean that the medical examiners still have parts of her remains, some remains that need further testing and investigating, so then that way they can come to more conclusions or further, just kind of study, right? Maybe they're having a hard time trying to figure out what the cause of death is or the manner of death is, and they still held on to some of her remains, right? I'm sorry, you totally get it, and see how this character assassination, not okay. Brown child with no support system, and she's not to blame for using any of her resources she had. 100%, no, she is definitely not to blame. Yashoda asks, can they hold back a body like that or the organs? I have no idea how that works. Where is it? I'm going to send myself something too, because I have a photo. Hold on, where is this at? I'm going to have to find it. But anyways, it was just basically a report from the medical examiner's office that basically stated that they did release the body back to the family. So I don't know if that was a partial release, or if they just decided to keep the entire body, for that matter. Cindy said, yes, Floja, at that age, they don't know anything. In Mexican families, they don't talk about sex. They just say, no, 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 you can't. Bean Baby says, I can tell you why, because since there's still an open investigation, they never released her body. Plus, if she was decomposed that bad and not in one piece, more than likely they get cremated. So do you think that they just had the funeral services just for the sake of having the services? Ms. Dizzle said, Google says, yes, the medical examiner can retain parts of a body, such as organs or tissue samples, after the rest of the body has been released to the family. Native Girl says, or what was left of the organs. Dee Dee said, sorry to be gross. You know how hard it is to convict without a body. I think this is close to that in that she was described in soupy condition, hard to establish cause of death, making charges tricky. Gold said, what would be the point of a funeral and a burial? Surely the family would have waited until her remains were released. Why fake an entire burial? That's a great question. Why would they? I mean, obviously, that cost money, and I'm not going to speculate and put any theories out there and say that, maybe it was all fake, because we don't know, right? We did see a lot of family members in photos there. So for all we know, and this is one of the photos, right? This was Celeste Rivas's funeral, and here she is, or what we believe is her in the casket, being carried by her family members to, her final resting place. And then here, Fox 11 comes out with their video.
It's in the case of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose body was found in a Tesla belonging to singer David. The teen's body has been released to her family for burial.
That's right. Mario Ramirez is live in Hollywood with more on what we know about her funeral. Mario.
Brooke, Jen, as the LAPD continues its investigation into the death of 15-year-old Celeste, this is still being referred to as a death investigation, not a homicide. And it's been more than 2 weeks since her remains were found here at this Hollywood tow yard. Take a look. 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez pictured here. Her family finally able to receive her body. The LA County Medical Examiner confirms the remains were released to her family for memorial services, but officials haven't made public exactly how she died or whether or not results are pending. Her remains found a day after what would have been her 15th birthday, stuffed inside of a Tesla, impounded here to this tow yard after reports of a strong stench, and that Tesla registered to the singer David, real name David Anthony Burke. He has since canceled the rest of his world tour for his album that was released earlier this year, and while he hasn't been involved or named a suspect, detectives searched a Hollywood Hills home the artist was renting not far from where that Tesla was abandoned before being impounded. And as investigators work to piece all of this together, TMZ's Harvey Levin joined Fox 11 last night, saying police have been very tight-lipped about all this.
I have rarely seen the LAPD play their cards as close to the vest as they are in this case. They are on lockdown. There is some radio silence here that personally I find unusual, just based on the way things have operated, as long as we've been around for 20 years.
Now, David's team says he's cooperating with the LAPD's investigation, but it's not clear what he's told them. Celeste's family describing her as a beloved daughter, sister, cousin, and friend. The family, through a GoFundMe, has raised more than $24,000 for funeral expenses. And back out here live, private services are now scheduled for October 4th. For now, live here in Hollywood, I'm Mario Ramirez. We'll send it back to you.
All right.
So that was Fox reporting on the burial or the funeral services of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Yashoda asked, what did she ask? But didn't they get money raised by GoFundMe, about $25,000 for her funeral? Yeah, Fox just mentioned that they received roughly around like $24,000. Let's see. Cindy. You were so young. So sorry. Well, Cindy, we love you. No matter what. We love you. Gold Digger, yes, they did raise that money. Yashoda, the last I knew, it crossed $25,000. The burial was private, close loved ones. But no low cousins, no, their family members, just a small pack. Yeah, I think it was just a private funeral services for immediate family. Mark says, Cindy agrees she didn't deserve justice is coming soon. Justice is definitely coming soon, and I think that, they're going to be closing in on this case really, really soon. Let's see if I have anything else. I think we watched this already.
That this...
No, we watched that already. Tangy Man Podcast. SF investigates trash, whatever. Okay, let me bring up another video that I do want to kind of get everybody's insights on. And then, if you guys were in Mark the Sharks live last night, you guys have probably already talked about it. But I want to kind of go over this video with you guys. Let me just pull up this video. No. Where is it? Hold on. I might have to go to Discord for this link. Hold on, you guys. Hang tight. Who posted it? Okay, here we go. So this was a video that was put out by Sloan Bella last night, and he posted this probably around, 6 or 7 o'clock last night. Could be wrong. But he talks about the truth about Celeste autopsy results. Hey, buddy. Hey. We're going to go out in a bit. The dog is getting into the cardboard here. Anyways, this is a video that Sloan put out about the truth about Celeste autopsy results. So now, after last night, there are new reports coming out about another ME source within the medical examiner's office who is putting out different information. So now it feels like there's more conflicting information. So I want to watch this video with you guys, and I want to get your thoughts on it.
So there's a lot of tension behind the scenes within the David investigation between the LAPD, the medical examiner's office, and the media. There's been a lot of misinformation out there, and I've been trying my best to keep you guys up to date on this investigation. And it seems like my video has reached some people who are working behind the scenes. And in particular, there's an anonymous source who has seen Celeste's remains who's come to me and wanted to clear the air on some of the information floating around. Now, I want to keep this source anonymous because I feel I'm honored that they did come to me, and I want to respect this. And after doing some vetting, I do believe that this person has been around Celeste's remains and does have some of the details that we're missing. Remember, TMZ claims they have their own source within the medical examiner's office, and I do not believe that we're speaking to the same person because they have information that contradicts what TMZ is saying.
Very well-connected source connected to the medical examiner, the LA County medical examiner. And they doubled, tripled, quadrupled, and sextupled down that the body was found in a partially frozen state.
This is graphic because we've got some of those disturbing details to go through, so let's talk about it. So Celeste's remains arrived at the medical examiner's office in 3 garbage bags. One bag had her legs, one bag had her torso, cut above mid-thigh. Another bag had her head and her arms. This already contradicts what some of the reporting says, that Celeste was not decapitated. My source is saying 3 bags. We've got the legs in one, torso, and the head and arms in another, which would...
So let's run that back, you guys. So there's conflicting reports between, now it's conflicting reports within the medical examiner's office. So let's hear that again. So Sloan is saying that her body was now placed in 3 different bags.
3 bags. We've got the legs in one, torso, and the head and arms in another, which would mean that she was decapitated. But there is an LAPD captain who was quoted saying that her body was partially dismembered but not decapitated. So again, something that's being misreported that my source wanted the world to know. My source wanted to focus on the cuts in particular. I mean, we know that Celeste was dismembered, decapitated, cut down at the neck and to the mid-thigh. Multiple different cut marks were visible on the bones. Some looked like they may have come from a hand saw that was not very effective. Other markings looked like an electric tool. Our source claims that they saw evidence of at least 3 different tools being used. It kind of goes along with what Steve said at one point, that there were farm tools. Investigator Steve, sorry, I feel like we're so used to talking about him, but he's been on this case, and he says that there were farm tools discovered at the home that was in Los Angeles. So maybe those are the same tools that our EM saw that were used on this body.
Searched the home, and that he found, and look, does this mean anything? Does it not? That's the question. But he found, he claims, basically heavy machinery and farm equipment, for equipment that you could use to potentially get rid of a body. So he says these things were found.
This is a portion of my conversation with our source. I will redact it in portions throughout the video to protect their identity, but I wanted to go through the cutting aspect. They're saying that the fact that there were multiple tools used is a reason why David is not maybe the sole suspect. It seems like other people had their turn, helping out with him. I don't know, it's so disturbing. They rate the amount of force it takes to cut a body in the way that you can determine the force by the teeth marks from, let's say, a saw. If I tried cutting her and it took 20 times to get her leg off, it may not take you, another person, to 20 times to do the same, because you may be stronger than this person is. So there's inconsistent cut marks from more than one tool, which makes it possible to have more than one suspect. They also say it looks like whoever was supposed to finish the job never did, and left her the way she was found rather than actually disposing of her body. Forensic technology uses teeth marks from something like a saw to estimate the force that was used, which I guess the way that her body was chopped shows that there was different levels of force being used. Because of the cut patterns and the force appearing inconsistent, they think that there's more than one person involved. Now let's talk about the frozen aspect. So our source claims that the only time Celeste was ever frozen was when she was being placed in the crypt. The crypt is at the medical examiner's office. It's where they put the body as they're going through testing it and reviewing it so it stays as fresh as possible. According to our source, they don't believe Celeste was frozen or ever frozen. They also described Celeste's remains as soupy or waterlogged, which shows extreme decomposition. Remember, TMZ has been adamant that their source within this investigation believes that she was frozen. TMZ reported that we're told the body parts were partially frozen and had been thawing out sitting in David's trunk. In another report, they rate that it appeared the body had been frozen somewhere and was thawing out. But the LAPD captain who's running this said on the LAPD side that the body was never frozen. TMZ has doubled down, saying they have a very connected source within the medical examiner's office that does say that she was frozen. Here is the LAPD statement. They released this on November 21st, where they stated the body was, again, not frozen. So there's this back and forth. And I don't know what's going on here. Harvey suspects that maybe his source at the medical examiner's office is right, and there's some issues within the LAPD and the ME's office, and they can't decide what the facts are. But either way, our source claims that their team, the people there, do not believe the body was ever frozen, which does lead you to question, where was her body? Because they do believe that she was dead for months and months. So where did they store her? They said the decomposition was so advanced they could not visually tell if she had been strangled or otherwise assaulted. They claimed the smell was overwhelming, much stronger than the usual case, which lines up with how the Tesla was discovered because of that odor. Another interesting piece of information we learned was that Celeste's body reportedly could not be identified through fingerprints, which makes sense. She was waterlogged. They normally might use something like a toenail for DNA, but in this case, they had to use dental records. Again, I don't think that's been released that they used dental records to identify her. There were reports that said that Celeste had a yellow metal chain bracelet on. This is also something I can confirm that my source said, yes, in fact, in the bag where her head and her arms were, there was the bracelet. Right now, within the office, it seems like the rumors, now this is what they're saying. So imagine a workplace and everyone's talking about the case. This is kind of what's going around right now. They believe that this was possibly an overdose. They don't see any gunshot wounds. They can't tell if she was strangled. Toxicology is still going through it. I mean, my source said that they're still working on reports. There will be reports at some point. They don't know what it will reveal, but they kind of feel like the working speculation right now is an overdose, and that's how she would have died. My conversation with the source, it's kind of speculated she OD'd due to no obvious signs of injury, like a gunshot wound. Her body was so bad, you can't even tell she was strangled because her tissues were so thin and sludge. Poor girl, it was awful. Just the smell from her decaying was sad. That is all the information that I've learned from my source. And to give you guys a little bit of insight, I've had several sources within this investigation, people we've spoken about, that I've spoken to. I respect people's anonymity. I do not want to be, I don't want to do anything wrong here. I'm trying my best to verify and to vet everything that I am hearing from people, but there are people who are talking. And if you are out there and you want your information out there, just come to me. Now, of course, we've got a vetting process, so you have to be willing to talk to me, but I do want to talk about the grand jury information. So there's been this secret grand jury meeting where these people are meeting to hear evidence, to hear from witnesses testifying, and to build this case behind the scene that David is the one who did this. Let's talk about what a grand jury means in this case, because they don't immediately hand down a verdict. It's called an investigative grand jury. They hear evidence.
Really quick though, what do you guys think about his sources? Do you guys, I mean, obviously, Sloan, let's see, he's got 1.19 million followers or subscribers. And he decided to take all of this information that he received and put it out in a video. Do you think that his resources or his sources are reliable, or do you think that this could be another way to spin the narrative? I mean, obviously they're conflicting informations between both medical examiner reports, but what do you guys think? Do you guys believe that his resources are reliable? I'm going to put that in a poll, so I want you guys to take a vote. Let me ask you guys.
Subpoena witnesses and other evidence like videos, records, to help prosecutors decide whether there's enough to charge someone. So it's kind of like a mock jury. Would you guys think this guy's guilty? And that's what they're doing. It looks like the grand jury has been hearing evidence for several days in mid-November. If the grand jury do recommend some charges, it doesn't mean the prosecutors will take what they have to say, but at least they'll feel more confident in pursuing with what evidence they have. Because if this jury convicted him, then the next probably would too. The fact that they called this grand jury means that authorities have evidence, and I'm hopefully feeling confident that David will be in prison by the time Christmas rolls around, because if they're presenting this evidence now, it means that they want to hear out the grand jury, hear what they have to say, and if they say, lock him up, then the police will be right up on him. But at the same time, I don't know if they have enough to go and convict him. So I am thankful to everyone who's trying to get all of the information out and trying to keep it straight. I'm really trying to put out what is real, what I can come across, and this case is something I'm heavily invested in, and I know you guys are too. So thank you.
Okay, so right now, 78% of you guys said yes, his sources are legitimate, and 22% said no. Why do you guys believe his sources are legitimate? I'm curious, why? What makes you believe that his sources are legitimate? Now, he also mentioned earlier that they believe that she potentially may have OD'd, but then that makes absolutely no sense as to why her body was dismembered. Why would you dismember a person who OD'd? Why not just call, EMS, emergency medical services, and get this girl help? Was there a fear that, the whole dating a minor would come to light? Dee Dee said, yes, I reserve the right to rescind my vote. You voted yes, but now you're taking it back? That's cool. That's okay. I can't do the calculations, though. I'm not that smart, but that's fine if you say no, if you take it back. Dee Dee, thank you. Hey, Mark, drop your channel in the chat. But I found another video that I want to show you guys, right? And they were talking about the cutting of a body, right? And in order to make that determination, I don't believe a regular medical examiner would be able to make that determination. That determination would probably be through a forensic anthropologist, and they're normally the ones who study like the cut marks on a body. They're studying the skin. So I want to pull up a video that I found just to kind of explain what their role would be in this potential case.
On 7 News, when death investigations involve skeletal remains, they require specialized training. But experts say people with that level of expertise are few and far between. In a 7 News exclusive, our Henry Coburn takes us behind the scenes for forensic anthropologist inside the job.
Forensic anthropologists are so rare that when most law enforcement agencies investigate skeletal remains, they have to call in the State Law Enforcement Division, or SLED, for help. That is not the case with the Greenville County Coroner's Office, because one of these experts on staff.
If we have law enforcement find a human bone or a bone period, used to, we would respond out there, collect the evidence, bring the evidence back into a forensic pathologist, let the forensic pathologist make the determination whether or not it was human.
That's no longer the case for the Greenville County Coroner's Office, which now has one of these experts on staff. We previously reported on February 27th, someone found a human skull in the woods on Oscar Street in Greenville. As the coroner's office began to investigate, they knew who to call.
He showed me a picture of a human skull and he said, "Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Of course I want to go."
Mallory Cameron is a deputy coroner with an education in forensic anthropology.
This is pretty much just the skin that was left over.
If anyone knows bones, it's Cameron. She's specially trained to identify stages of human decomposition and can identify bones even from fragments. With just one look, she can tell you the bone's name, whether it's fake or real, where it fits into the human body, and the age and sex from whom it came. These skills were put to the test in the February case.
It was like around 1 or 2 o'clock, and the deputy coroner that had gotten the original call, he calls me, and I thought he was going to have a heart attack. He goes, "Mallory, I swear I'm looking at leg bones." And I said, "Where are you?"
Cameron took us out to the scene along Oscar Street, where she sorted remains during the investigation and helped investigators make a tentative ID.
We recovered a majority of that skeleton. There are just a few like finger and toe bones that are missing.
Because her skill set is so specialized, not many other coroners have their own anthropologists on staff and instead rely on SLED for help or ask the Greenville County Coroner's Office for Cameron's assistance.
Mallory has been a godsend to our office, realistically. We have shared Mallory's experience and her knowledge with many other coroner's offices in the state. South Carolina law enforcement
The
division
bone
has
whisperer.
had her out on calls.
Yeah, pretty
Cameron's
nasty.
job
She
is
didn't wear no
crucial in
gloves at
investigating
all.
cases with skeletal remains and bringing closure to families whose loved ones are missing.
Every case is different, and some cases hurt worse than other cases, but you know, helping families out is rewarding, and you know, it makes you feel good that you were able to help someone when they were in their worst times.
As for the Oscar Street remains, Cameron is still chasing down leads, trying to make a confirmation on the ID and bring peace of mind.
Do me a favor, you guys, if you guys haven't already. I don't ask for much. All I do is ask for you guys to just like the video, so then that way you can help me get this video out into the algorithm. I'm a very small, tiny channel, not monetized at all, so I'm doing this for free. I'm doing it for the justice of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, just like many of you know, the other creators out there. But yeah, we're just doing this, you know, to kind of get the word out there, shed some light on some of the things that are going on, and I do appreciate all of you guys for coming to hang out. So for all of you guys, do me a favor, drop some hearts in the chat for Celeste Rivas Hernandez, you guys. We are on the way to getting this case solved and getting justice for Celeste. I want to see this this report from the medical examiner, and I want to know what the actual truth is. And I can't wait till we find out more information, or if and when this case goes to trial, so then that way we can definitely get our hands on this information. And Mark, or anybody out there, if you guys want to, you know, if you guys want to go in and kind of chip in for some of these documents, we'll definitely want to get those documents when they come out, so then we can review them and go over it with you guys. Look at you guys spamming those hearts in the chat. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at all those hearts in the chat. Megan Williams, welcome. Justice for Celeste. Absolutely. And I do want to, and I dropped Mark's channel in the chat. I want you guys to go follow him if you guys haven't already, because Mark does an absolutely amazing job. And I'm going to drop it in the chat again. I want you guys to go follow his page. Mark is one of those true soldiers who's boots on the ground. He's covered a lot. He was covering the Emmanuel Haro case, and who was there in the courtroom when what do you call it? Father, I don't even know his name, received his sentencing. So, yeah, no, definitely if they don't seal him, right, Mark? But eventually, once this case, you know, probably goes to trial, I'm sure that we'd be able to get our hands on it. Absolutely, Mark. Keep doing what you're doing. We love the work that you're doing. I want to get into one more video. And this is going to be a theory, and you know, if you see me in other people's chats, you've heard me talking about a January theory, right? And how she died in January. And I wanted to put a video together on what my thoughts were on the January theory. However, Matt Thibodeau beat me to the punch, and this theory that I'm about to show you guys is literally the theory that I have been, you know, contemplating in my head for the longest time. Let me just open this up, and then we'll go over it. Then I want to get your thoughts on, could this be a potential theory for the disappearance of Celeste? I want to hear you. I want to get your thoughts on this, because when I saw this, I was just kind of shocked, because I was like, who is listening to my thoughts in my head? Because there's a part in here that that was kind of something I didn't really agree with, or didn't really like see. But the whole entire premise and the situation is a theory that I've just kind of been running with for the longest time. So here is a video. I want to see what you guys think about it.
The David Celeste Rivas Hernandez case that I want to share with you guys. While I don't 100% believe this is true. I do think that it's possible, and I do want to piggyback off of some of the stuff that they're talking about. So they write, I still very firmly believe that Celeste was unalived on or near January 2nd, 2025. David's posts right around January 2nd and 3rd were so sad. The songs he tagged in his IG posts were all about the death of a loved one, as we've discussed prior. On January 2nd and January 3rd, David posted pictures to both his IG and Twitter. These pictures are in a nature/beach location, and I can say with 98.5% certainty that these pictures were taken in the Santa Barbara area, more specifically the Montecito area.
So Mark, this guy's coming out with a lot of certainty where these photos were taken. I know that you've been trying to narrow down the location of where these photos were taken, because I know for a fact that once Mark is able to identify the area, he is going to go down there and check out this little trail or this area. So if any of you guys have any information about where this trail or this hike or this place might be, this remote location in Santa Barbara, please make sure that you reach out to Mark. Mark, do me a favor, drop your email in the chat, so then that way if anybody who has information can reach out to you directly.
Say, I believe it is very likely that David could have disposed of Celeste's body initially in the San Istro Creek area, which is a remote location in the Santa Barbara area. And they believe that David marked the area with a high on a rock, which is something that he posted a photo of, which conveniently enough, if you flip the picture upside down, is Celeste's age, 1/4/14. They believe that at some point months later, David realized that he exposed this location publicly, so he ends up going back there to move her body. And they believe that this is what LAPD is talking about when they're referencing a trip that David took in the middle of the night to a remote area of Santa Barbara County. Now, would it have been easier for him to just delete the photos from his IG? Probably. Would it have been easier for him to just dispose of her somewhere else in that area than put her in the front of his Tesla? Definitely. So I'm not fully on board with believing this 100%, but like I said, I do want to piggyback off of this because the timeline, and I think these photos are very telling. So we know that at this very moment, that the last known photo of Celeste Rivas Hernandez alive is January 2nd, 2025. January 2nd, 2025 also happens to be when David posts this picture to his IG, Extra David. And as you can see, the caption is in Japanese. When you translate it, the caption means death by smoking. January.
So it's crazy, right? Let me see if I can pull up these photos too. Hold on, I want to pull up the photos really quick. Let me see if I can find them. I have them somewhere. There's so much stuff. I think the Shark family has put together so much stuff in this case. We have so much evidence and photos. Let me see. I'll look for it, you guys. But
January 3rd, David posts this photo on that same IG account. Again, the caption is in Japanese that translate to "My site is beautiful." January 5th, we have another photo, again with a Japanese caption, which translates to "Not my best work, but I meditated here today." And then he takes a little bit of a posting break on this account and comes back on January 28th, 2025 with this post right here in English, saying, "I've been abhorrently sad as of late, which is why I haven't been inspired to post on here in a while. But I went to the beach with my friend this morning and it made me feel better." So one, why is David sad in January of 2025 around the same time period that Celeste seemingly vanishes off the face of the earth? 1.5, why is David seemingly alone in a remote area of California for what appears to be a few days on end? And 2, why is David speaking in Japanese on these photos around this specific time period? Some people believe that this is him acting as his alter ego Itami, which means pain in Japanese. Remember, David said that Itami is the evil version of himself and refers to this dynamic between David and Itami as a split personality. Now, this specific photo right here of the water and the trees and stuff reminded me of something that I did over the summer. I was hiking and ended up walking into a natural cave. Now, if you guys have ever been inside of a cave, you know that they are super cold. They're actually referred to as nature's air conditioner. They maintain a stable, cool temperature all year round despite how hot it is outside. So I ended up Googling to see if there are any caves in California, and there are. Now, if David was aware of certain areas of California that have caves and that also lack foot traffic, could he have put Celeste's body in a cave? According to what I looked into, a body being placed in a cave where there is a stable, cool temperature that slows down the biological process of decay. If the cave is relatively dry and lacks a high percentage of moisture, that would prevent decay and could lead to the mummification of a body. And remember what this medical examiner report allegedly says, according to sources, that Celeste's body was mummified. But it also notes that she was severely decomposed and that her fingers were waterlogged. So is it possible that Celeste passed away in January of 2025? She was placed somewhere where her body began mummifying. She was then picked up for whatever reason and moved, maybe to a colder, damp environment where her body that was beginning to mummify had access to moisture again. So ultimately, when she was found in
Now, I don't know if I really believe the whole cave situation, right? Or that she was mummified in the cave, but it could make sense. If this really took place in Santa Barbara area, I don't know of any caves. If any of you guys are hikers, I know Mark is. But if you guys are familiar with any caves in that San Isidro, Santa Ynez, or the Inez Canyon or whatever, let us know. I definitely know that Mark is down to travel out there, be boots on the ground, and do a little digging and searching himself. So I know that that Mark is really trying to find this location right over here. Let me hold on.
David's Tesla in the back.
I know that he's trying to find this location right here, and these are some of the places. These are some of the photos from his Instagram, the Extra David, the account that he made on, we don't know if he made it, right? But he definitely started posting from this account on January 2nd, which is the same day that SF Investigate says he has the last proof of life of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And again, it says here in Japanese, if you translate it, it says death from smoking. Then he has another video here of another sign that says smoking deaths this year. Now, could that be a hint or could that be a clue as to how Celeste may have died? Could it have been an accidental death from maybe an overdose from drugs? I don't know. None of us know, right? But it is very weird that he is posting this. What relevance does it have? Because we do know, and Mark, you've said this before, that David, he's a lot smarter than we give him credit for, right? Besides him being a dumbass for murdering this girl. But he's very calculated with everything that he does. If you just listen to the lyrics of his music, I'm not asking you to listen to his music, but at least read the lyrics to his music. There is just so many coincidences and some of the things that he says, so it's just weird. What relevance does this have to January 2nd or Celeste Rivas? None of us know, right? Then he came up with this post on January 3rd, right? Where he's posting a photo in what seems to be a mountainous area, maybe a potential hike. This was posted on January 3rd. Then you see this other rock that some say says the word high. And if you look at it upside down, could potentially say 14, which was the age of Celeste. This translation here in Japanese says, my sight is beautiful. So could it be potentially him marking a spot where he may have done, horrible things to Celeste? And then also he did mention that, why is he writing in Japanese? Could this be that this is David acting as his alter ego, Hitami, the person who is supposed to be the evil side of D4VD. So this was posted on the 2nd. These photos were posted on the 3rd. And then you have these photos right here posted on January 4th. He says, not my best work, but I meditated here today. Could this be the same place that Celeste was at? I don't know what this photo... Does anybody know if this photo is from a movie? Because I have no idea what this photo references. Let me see. I'm curious. Sorry, I just want to go reference that video or that photo. This was posted January 4th. This was posted on January 13th. This was posted on January 12th. So, I don't know. All of January just kind of seems so crazy. And nobody knows what the hell he was up to. So, I'm very curious. If any of you guys know, you guys have any clues, my email's right here. You guys can go ahead and send me whatever you guys have. Because I'd love to review it. Yashoda said, at goal, SF said that January 2nd was the last known picture of her. Goal says, thanks. Bean Baby says, Murray Canyon. Where's Murray? Is it Murray? Murray Canyon? Mark, yes, January 2nd, SF says the last known pic he has. LAPD might have more proof of life that we don't know of. Yeah, which is true, right? Obviously, the LAPD hasn't, given us anything, or they haven't shown any of their cards, which is fair. Which is fair. I want them to do whatever they need to do to ensure that, they maintain the integrity of this investigation and make sure that, when they finally arrest somebody, they can throw the whole entire book at them, right? Because I can't wait till the day that I get to play this sound bit to you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Right? And when that day comes, you can ensure that we're going to be playing that soundbite. What are you guys' thoughts? You guys think that that this video holds any weight, or this theory could be true? I don't know. Interesting. Is the cave dry? Good question. If the cave holds any weight to it, they are definitely known to be a lot cooler than outside temperatures. So could this be the perfect place to store or hide a body? Who knows? We do know that the LAPD has been tracking that trip to Santa Barbara. They did utilize social media posts, Tesla data tracking, and then phone tracking. So they probably pinged the location, and they found that he was there and spent roughly around 2 hours in Santa Barbara. Yashoda said, Mark, I agree. They're looking at spring as her time of passing, so they must be knowing that she was alive beyond January 2nd. Yeah, and I'm so curious to know, what information they have that proves that she was alive past January 2nd, because SF Investigate has nothing. So I'm just really curious what LAPD has. I don't know. January 2nd is interesting nonetheless. When was that concert? He broke down while singing. I didn't see that. Did you? I don't know exactly what the date was. I want to say maybe it was in August, but hold on. What's the name of that song? No, what's the name of that song where he was crying? Afterlife? Now, so this says that it took place 5 months ago. And I'm going to go ahead and play this video in its entirety. If it gets struck, I'm just going to remove it after the fact. But let's take a look at this video. This is the video of him singing Afterlife for the first time in his hometown of Houston, right? Actually, we're just gonna play it. If it gets struck, whatever.
The devil told me you were good for me. My mother told me he would lie. What doesn't kill you waits for later. What tries to keep you alive fail.
Okay, I don't really want to play the entire song. So apparently this is a video of David singing Afterlife. I think this may have been one of the first times that he may have performed this song live. But nonetheless, this is a part where he's crying during the video.
As I try to pretend something else is making me cry when you cross the line by your side. I'll love you from the after. I'll love you.
Okay, this video is for sure gonna get flagged, but that was the video or a part of David crying to Afterlife. I don't know if that's really crying or not, but whatever the case is, that was him singing Afterlife in Houston for the first live. This was posted, when did this take place? This was June 5th, so this is long after her last proof of life, and you know, June, July, August, September, almost 4 months before, 3 months before she was discovered in the Tesla. So, yeah, let's go ahead and catch up on the chat. So I have a feeling something must have happened on New Year's Eve or on New Year's. Yeah, the whole beginning of the year is just so murky, it's so unclear. And then those photos that SF Investigates released of, you know, those 4 photos that he released are just so odd. Let's go back. Hold on. Mark said, I already have my thumbnail ready for when they make an arrest or multiple arrests. So do you have more than one thumbnail? Just in case, Mark? I'm curious. Native Girl says that's very possible you showed it. Yeah, it's definitely weird. Yashoda said maybe the LAPD is going by the LA Mansion neighbor's testimony that he saw the girl with David. Yeah, when was that? Do you guys remember when that was? Because I don't remember exactly when that was. Mark said I have my thumbnail ready. Native Girl said it's very possible. Mark, the weird odd hour in the night trip he took to Santa Barbara. Yeah, what time was that? I'm very curious what they have that says that he spent. And what I'm really curious about too is, did he take this trip to Santa Barbara, and is this where he may have killed Celeste? Or do we think that Celeste was already dead in the front while they were going to Santa Barbara, and that's where he decided to dismember her body? No idea. I don't think so. I'm not sure. The performer. So did we find out if Tesla could drive without a driver? Bean Baby, you're still on that, huh? You think the car drove all the way to Santa Barbara? Just a Tesla, nobody inside? Cindy said, I'm thinking this is his conscience was getting him knowing what would happen to Celeste. You think so? He was finally like coming to realization that, you know, all this was going to catch up to him. You know, because this happened in June and they discovered her body in September. So, I mean, you know, he could have just turned himself in, right? But again, that's not how Blair Berk works, right? She is not about that. She is not about that life. She is definitely going to do whatever she can do to control that narrative. That's the whole reason why he stayed so silent, right? You keep him silent. You cause or pressure the public to have or form any kind of reasonable doubt, right? What else? She's doing her little crisis management. What I want to know right now, though, is where is he? Where do you guys think he is at? Do you guys think that he's still in the country? Do you guys think that he's in Texas with his family? Do you think that he's somewhere isolated by himself? Do you think that he's still alive? I don't know. But that's probably going to be it for me, you guys. We've been on for what? About 2 hours. Let me go ahead and drop my friends. Let me go ahead and put my friends. Mark the Shark. Where is your page at? Let's go ahead and put Mark the Shark's. I think they have him under surveillance. You think so? Mark, you going live today or what? Gonna do another marathon? Let me go ahead and drop Mark's channel right here in the chat for you guys. Do me a favor, go ahead and follow Mark the Shark. And shout out to every content creator that's covering this case. There 40 of you guys that were in here. That's crazy. 40 of you guys decided to hang out with me and spend some time with me for up to 2 hours. I love you guys. And we're gonna continue to do this. We're gonna keep, you know, doing these lives until we bring justice for Celeste. Also, again, if there are any other cases that you guys want me to follow, again, you guys can send me these cases right here in my email. I'm making it small. I'm trying to minimize everything. You guys, what do you guys think about this setup today, though? Does this setup on screen look good? Shout out to my homie Justile for helping me out with this. And we're streaming on a different platform. We're no longer using Meld. We are using OBS. So, you know, we're trying to clean it up, make it look pretty presentable. But anyways, that's going to be it for me, you guys. I do appreciate that you guys came and you guys hung out and spent time with me on a Saturday. You guys have a million other things to do, but you guys chose to spend it with me. So again, I appreciate you guys. Do me a favor, if you guys haven't already, hit the like button. If you guys haven't, hit the subscribe button right here. I'm going to do it too, you guys. Hit that subscribe button right there. Boom. TMZ would hire you? No, I don't want them to hire. No, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. But anyways, thank you guys again for hanging out. This is Filling in the Gaps with Flo Joe, and I will see you guys later. Thank you guys.